Board of School Directors will please come to order. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Director Ferguson,
Present.
Director Fonz,
Present.
Director Herndon,
Present.
Director Jackson.
Present.
Director O'Halloran has asked to be excused this evening. Director Reza,
Here.
Director Seamson,
Present.
Director Vinoy,
Present.
and President Zomber.
Present.
That's 8 present. We have a quorum.
The Chair will now ask the Secretary to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. The Chair invites any members of the audience who wish to participate to do so and asks that those who do not wish to participate please remain silent during the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We acknowledge that Milwaukee lies on traditional Menominee, Potawatomi, and Ho-Chunk homeland along the southwest shores of Lake Michigan, part of North America's largest system of freshwater lakes. On this site, the Milwaukee, Menominee, and Kinnickinnic rivers meet, and the people of Wisconsin's Menominee, Ojibwe, Ho-Chunk, Oneida, and Mohican sovereign nations remain present to this day. At Milwaukee Public Schools, we proudly serve and uplift the brilliance, resilience, and potential of the Black children in our community. We recognize the historical and systemic challenges that impact their journeys, and we are committed to creating a nurturing and empowering environment that honors their identities, celebrates their culture, and provides equitable opportunities for success. The Milwaukee Board of School Directors stands with our children, families, and community to build pathways for excellence, leadership, and lasting change. Before we begin tonight's meeting, we have a short announcement regarding interpretation services for the Spanish-speaking members of our audience.
Buenas tardes y bienvenidos a la Junta Escolar de las Escuelas Públicas de Milwaukee. Si deseas escuchar esta reunión en español, por favor llame al 312-626-6799. Otra vez, 312-626-6799. Introduzca el número de reunión 608-130-5362. Nuevamente, el número de reunión es 608-130-5362. Gracias.
This meeting is being conducted in person from the Central Services Building. This meeting is also being broadcast on WYMS Radio 88.9 FM and via the MPS YouTube stream, the links to which may be found on the MPS website on the Boardcast page. Before we move to our agenda, the Chair will ask that we share in a moment of silence to commemorate the passing of the following members of the MPS community. Nova Blaine, a K-5 student at OW Holmes. Marquise Champion, a 10th grade student at Bayview High School. Silas Painter Dull, a 9th grade student at Riverside High School. Stephen Nordball, a retired bricklayer chargeman from the physical plant mason shop. Leon Pruski, a retired teacher from Sublaki School, serving most recently as an LTE for curriculum and instruction. Edward Ramones, a retired teacher from Wedgwood Park. King Wilson, a K-5 student at Highmount. Jaquavian Wright, a 12th grade student at Project Stay. We also commemorate the passing of Jerry Ann Hamilton, who led the Milwaukee branch of the NAACP for 12 years and fought valiantly for civil rights, providing a steady voice calling for police reform, racial inclusion, and the elimination of oppression in our communities. Could we have a moment of silence, please? Thank you. Each month, the Milwaukee Board of School Directors accepts the public's input both at the committee's meetings and through correspondence submitted to the Office of Board Governance. As this is the regular monthly meeting of the board, however, in accordance with board rules, the board will not be accepting comment at tonight's meeting. Just as a reminder, Robert's Rules of Order holds that all comments, questions, and requests should be directed to the chair, who will determine the most efficient way to address them. The board appreciates and encourages stakeholder attendance at its meetings and assumes that members of the public will participate in a civil manner. Conduct that persistently disrupts the meeting may result in individuals being removed from the meeting. Anyone ejected from the meeting may continue to listen to the meeting or access the agenda items online. Only members of the board, designated staff, and those who have been invited to present or participate in items of business will be allowed on stage before, during, or after meetings of the board. Finally, for our listening audience, if you wish to access this evening's agenda items and attachments online, you may do so by visiting the meetings, agendas, and minutes page of the MPS website. Now let's begin. Madam Secretary, what is our first item of business?
Madam President, our first item is action on the minutes of the August 2025 special and regular meetings of the Milwaukee Board of School Directors.
If there are no corrections, the minutes will be approved by consensus. Okay. Madam Secretary, are there any reports or communications from the superintendent?
Madam President, we have one communication from the superintendent, the monthly report with possible action of the superintendent of schools. This is an informational item, and although it was noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Will the superintendent please present the report?
Good evening, President Zombor and members of the board. Brenda Caselli is superintendent. It has been a very busy month this month, lots going on, so the report will be a little bit more, and then I have a quarterly report after. So this month, in addition to my monthly report, I'm going to be presenting our first quarterly district performance report. As you remember, I said that we would be regularly reporting out on performance measures and also another report out on audit reports. So I just want to make sure that you understand this is the one on our performance measures toward our strategic direction and our strategic goals, and open to all your feedback because it's the first one. And then the second one that Mr. Galvan is going to be reporting on is going to be the quarterly report on our performance measures. And then in November, we'll bring the quarterly report on the audits. Okay? So our focus is providing key data points and information that outline our performance in alignment with the strategic priorities of the board. And Mr. Galvan will share those just shortly. But I'm going to start now with my regular monthly report. A team from our Office of Academics and members of our senior team just returned from the Council of Great City Schools Fall Conference. It's an opportunity to learn about how other large urban districts are tackling some of the biggest challenges that we all face and to share best practices. It's also a chance for us to share some of our own great work. Teams from our academics office, as well as partners from the Medical College of Wisconsin, presented on 4 topics you see on your screen. Just a moment, we'll make sure that we can get this advancing.
For those who listen on the radio, we're just working on technology. I think we have it now.
Okay, so you can see there's analyzing suicide risk and transforming school culture, and a number of others that we were reporting on to our colleagues. I'm super proud of our academic team. These are closely aligned to our focus on academic achievement, safe and welcoming schools, and efficient operations, which are our 3 key pillars. This was also a really busy month for our media events. Started right away on October 1 with the dedication of a new group of green schoolyards. It was a wonderful day. The Reflow Green and Healthy Schools effort brings together the district and partners and now encompasses 36 of our MPS schools. Even more schools will come in the next cohort. The redesigned yards replace asphalt with grassy, environmentally friendly outdoor spaces, and they support learning and play and community gathering. On October 13th, I was joined by Mayor Cavalier Johnson, County Exec David Crowley, MATC President Dr. Anthony Cruz, and UWM Chancellor Tom Gibson. As MCube partners, we marked our annual push to encourage students and families to finish the FAFSA and unlock access to higher education. As you know, this is an MPS graduation requirement, and our seniors continue to complete the FAFSA at a rate higher than both the state and the national averages. Students who apply earlier have a much better chance to access funds, including state grants. The annual Emergency Gun Violence Summit was held on October 15th and was presented by the City of Milwaukee Office of Community Wellness and Safety and the Joyce Foundation. As you know, this is an issue close to my heart. Gun violence is impacting every community across our state and nation, and the time for action is now. The summit brought together more than 50 experts, policymakers, clinicians, doctors, nurses, psychologists, advocates, and survivors to share their stories and their expertise. We explored evidence-based strategies and innovative policies to address both urban, rural dimensions of gun violence, creating safer communities for all during this crucial time. On October 16th, MPS and MTA announced a campaign to encourage retired educators to come back to the district and teach. Districts across the nation and the state continue to face a shortage of licensed teachers. MPS is looking to fill about 80 teacher vacancies still out of our 4,500 positions. The push for retirees reflects a focus on having a permanent licensed teacher in every classroom for the 2025-2026 school year. MTA and MPS are joining forces to try to drive the number of vacancies from 83 to 0. We've received interest from more than 50 retirees and are following up with them all. Just this week, on October 28th, in conjunction with the Mayor's Office, MPS launched the Adopt a School program, placing city staff inside 10 of our schools to support literacy, attendance, and community engagement. City employees will volunteer their time reading to students, mentoring, and helping at events, strengthening the connection between schools and the community. This initiative grew out of the city's Kids Cabinet, which brings together leaders focused on youth success. Future efforts will expand into areas like safety, wellness, workforce readiness, and summer activities. And on Tuesday, we joined a partnership with the city, county, and Milwaukee Bucks and faith-based partners to launch an emergency food drive. This is in response to the potential for 700,000 people in Wisconsin to lose their food benefits, otherwise known as SNAP. They did nothing to deserve this, and we're continuing to explore options to help support our students, our families, and our staff. We'll continue to serve breakfast and lunches to all our students, and we expect the numbers of students eating them to grow if this does actually come to pass. We will continue to call on the administration and federal lawmakers to address this issue so that no one goes hungry. I continue to connect with members of our Milwaukee community, including the Administrators and Supervisor Council, the Chamber of Commerce, the Milwaukee Public Library, the Realtors Association, the Milwaukee Reading Coalition, the Bucks Foundation, the Brewers Foundation, the city's Youth Achievement Advisory Council, the NAACP, MICA, and the Milwaukee Teachers Education Association. This month, we wrapped up 5 staff listening sessions here at Central Office, and on top of our community sessions, we had an online forum and virtual sessions. This feedback is going to be driving our evolving strategic plan. I've also worked with MTA on several listening sessions with their members, and we continue to work with them collaboratively on listening to their members and getting feedback. We also celebrated the closing of the Hispanic Heritage Month with a festive event at Bradley Tech. The theme was Flavors That Inspire, and we celebrated the history and contributions of Hispanics in our community and throughout the world. I also had a chance to visit 6 schools across Learning Communities 1 and 6, as well as the football team at Bradley Tech and our Milwaukee Conference Girls Volleyball Tournament. As you know, we are surveying staff and families about expanding extracurricular activities and opportunities in middle and high schools thanks to the additional funds in the final budget. I want to honor Reagan High School student Hannah Liebeck-Smoke, who joined Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez at a National Girl Scouts Leadership Conference. The local CEO of Girl Scouts told us Hannah proudly represented MPS. We even had some of our own Girl Scouts who did a video, including myself, when I was a brownie. Finally, I want to thank some award-winning members of our staff. Congratulations to Ana Baez, bilingual school counselor at South Division High School, who has been named the 2026 Wisconsin School Counselor of the Year by Wisconsin School Counselor Association. Baez was honored for leading a data-driven counseling program that improved freshman success, get this, by reducing failure rates by 31%, and for creating sustainable scholarship opportunities for our immigrant students. Congratulations to Bayview High School industrial technology teacher Michael Driscoll, who was named one of 5 National Grand Prize winners of the 2025 Harbor Freight Tools for School Prize for Teaching Excellence, honoring top skilled trades educators in U.S. public schools. Mr. Driscoll plans to use the grant to expand student access to hands-on learning spaces and continue inspiring tradespeople, future tradespeople as well. And now, as I mentioned, I want to turn it over to Deputy Superintendent Eduardo Galvan, who can provide the quarterly district performance report and measures. We welcome any feedback on this report as we continue to work to give the board and the public the information that they need and be as transparent as possible about our progress toward our audits and toward the performance and strategic direction the board has set. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Caselius. Good evening, President Zombor, members of the board, Eduardo Galvan, Deputy Superintendent, and I'm pleased to be with you to share these updates. We'll reorganize them, around our three pillars: academic achievement with a focus on literacy, safe and welcoming schools, and efficient operations. We'll begin with our update on the literacy plan and completion of our first two completed teacher trainings, a district-wide full day on August 26th and our first early release day on October 8th. You can see here in the next slide our upcoming teacher trainings for the year. And this has been shared with staff so everyone can make their plans accordingly. We again thank our families and our staff on the board for their flexibility in adding these half days and additional PD days to the calendar. Our goal is to make sure every one of our educators is experts in the science of reading through 40 hours of dedicated professional learning. Effective professional learning and effective instruction is tied to high quality instructional materials. So again, here's an update on our curriculum adoption timelines. We have completed our math curriculum adoption and our K through 5 English curriculum is in place. We are working with our vendor, HMH, Houghton Mifflin McGraw, I always say that wrong, to get updated supplemental materials tied to a newer edition of the curriculum. And pending board approval tonight, we will begin soliciting vendors for our high school English curriculum so that we have that in place by next fall. Moving to safe and welcoming schools, we want to provide our monthly lead update. Again, as you see here, 34 of the 50 schools in the second tier have already been completed. This is on track to be completed 1 month earlier than our anticipated deadline. So again, I want to take a moment to thank our facilities and maintenance team for all the hard work that they've been doing to make that happen, and we are ahead of schedule on that, and barring no setbacks, we'll move on to that final stage. So again, as I mentioned, we are ahead of schedule, and we will continue to go back and make sure that we continue to maintain our buildings. Our deadline is December 31st, and again, we will beat that and move along. We are sending messages to families and staff as the work is completed so that they too are aware of the progress. I again want to reiterate that we still have our lead plan up. We still have all that information and resources up there for our families on our website. So please refer to that, and families that are listening, there are resources available for you there as well. As you know, we have also completed a number of lead testing clinics, and we are working with the city on another round of clinics. We are not aware of any new cases of lead that have been traced back to our schools. Finally, we are also working toward filling our facilities positions, including the new director later this fall, to continue with the tremendous work that they're doing. We have been updating you on our work to use the standard response protocol in emergency situations. These posters are up in all of our schools and sites and align with language used by emergency responders. We're also proud to say that we've been able to address any previous fire code issues and are at 100% compliance. We also continue to closely monitor safety incidents in schools. Data show that our level 3 and 4 incidents resulting in central office hearings are down 9% year over year through October 15th. We have seen a slight increase in the number of calls for service to MPD by about 2%, and we're looking into the drivers of those issues so we can address them at the school level and beyond. We also we continue to look at our related policies. That includes exploring a virtual school option separate from my primary virtual school for students who would otherwise be expelled due to weapons issues. The goal is to give students an opportunity to earn credit, but in an environment with no peer interaction, or participation in athletics clubs or activities while in that setting. Again, those students have an opportunity, if they complete the programming, to re-enter depending upon the work that they put in. We are also expanding our policy manual to include other forms of safety: asbestos management, epidemics and pandemics, control of bloodborne pathogens, automated external defibrillators, AEDs, environmental health and safety program, student mental health and physical health services, lead, SRO program, crisis intervention, threats of violence, and pediculosis, otherwise known as head lice. Again, these are policies that we have, but we're just looking at them to see where we may need to expand or adjust them. Beyond safety, safe and welcoming schools is driven in strong part by our partnerships with our students, families, and community. The first meeting of the 2025-2026 Milwaukee Public Schools Superintendent Student Advisory Council was held on Wednesday, September 24th. 12 returning students representing 7 high schools participated in this session. Yesterday, they had their second meeting. I was able to pop in for a little bit, and that number increased to 40 students who were in attendance, and it was a wonderful thing. That's one of the meetings I love going to, not that I don't enjoy these as well. We are working to identify a student representative to this board and a backup so the responsibilities does not fall on one person alone. And again, this was a topic of conversation during their time together yesterday. This year, MPS is partnering with United Way to bring an advisor on who will support our community schools. The advisor would help onboard parent coordinators and work with the district staff to expand community schools models across more schools. As we talk about our ability to communicate, our main district phone number is a key point of contact for families and partners. In the first 3 weeks of the year, we received about 8,500 calls to this number, or 700 roughly per day. Callers waited less than 20 seconds on average for somebody to answer. To better serve our families and the community, we are exploring developing a centralized call center. This initiative aims to improve our ability to manage high call volumes and ensure that callers are efficiently connected to the appropriate program areas. Partnerships include our recreation facilities. We broke ground September 10th.
Quickly say.
Yes, absolutely.
I think it's just really important that it's so special still here in Milwaukee Public Schools, and I found it surprising that you don't get automated call like bot when you call Milwaukee Public Schools. You actually get 2 really wonderful people who answer the phone and talk with folks. So I find that quite remarkable that still you get to talk to a real person in Milwaukee Public Schools.
Thank you. Again, ground broke on September 10th on the new community center, and that fills a gap we identified in our services for the northwest side. We expect the project to be completed in 2027. Finally, we want to give a few key updates regarding our operations and making sure that they are efficient. First, by improving our human resources systems is a critical part of this. MPS has approximately 4,500 teachers, and about 99% of those positions are filled. We still have about 80 vacant positions, as well as openings in food, administrative support, and security staff. We are expanding our in-person fairs beyond central office to our schools, and we had a very successful fair yesterday where we interviewed nearly 100 candidates on site. So we'll hope to have them turned around and in our building soon. Human Resources reassessing how they staff and are casting a wider net to attract more applicants. A staffing strategic plan is currently being developed with the following components: a year-round staffing strategy, filling key staff roles, our work with MTEA to bring back retirees, university partnerships, meeting with 35 universities to create a teacher pipeline, strengthening our already existing Milwaukee Public Schools University, increasing career fairs, as I already mentioned, and adjusting hiring processes to eliminate bottlenecks and speed up the process. Steps include adjusting policies that create roadblocks in the hiring process, screenings, flexibility with testing, reducing the number of overall references, and accepting unofficial transcripts. We have already reduced the time to fill for some positions by 2 weeks. Brief enrollment update. The 2025-2026 school year third Friday count was 63,951, or about 97% of our goal of 66,223. The total does not include K-3 students. We do have K-3 students, but they are not included in the count that is submitted to the state. Once DPI finalizes the count, we will be able to give official year-to-year comparison. You can see a more detailed account by learning community here. The Office of Family, Community, and Partnerships is working closely with the Office of Communications on future enrollment strategies. It includes comprehensive enrollment marketing plan with year-round marketing efforts, including events. These efforts will emphasize creating customer-centered environments where families can easily enroll their students and engage with friendly, knowledgeable staff. And you can see a more detailed accounting by community here. Whoop, that was the previous slide. I want to quickly recap our audit presentation from last week. We received an unmodified audit opinion for our annual report and 2 other pieces. We had no state compliance finding and a few federal compliance findings that we are working to address as we shared. We know students getting to school on site and on time is critical to their learning. This slide shows our overall on-time rate has grown as the school year has continued. And I know it's a little bit hard to see from where you're sitting, but again, it goes from the first week of school to now, and those percentages of on time have increased to about 88% now. It's important to note that sometimes buses are parked just outside the zone and may be considered late just because they're a few spaces away. So that'll increase that as well. We are working to get you a data comparison requested last month, so you can show the impact of our Tier 1 start time change and on-time performance, and we will share that as soon as we have that. We are update on vans. So we are finalizing insurance issues with 2 vendors so that we can get our fleet of vans on the road to transport our students experiencing homelessness. This will also help those times increase. Again, we just want to make sure that we're following all the rules and regulations, and insurance is a big part of that. We've talked about being responsive to student feedback on food service, and we have a brief update on the number of salads served daily, weekly, and in total. High schools have served between 200 and 1,000 salads since the start of the school year. The next 2 slides, excuse me, show total meals served as of the last few days of September. So more right now at that time, so more than 500,000 breakfasts were served and more than 800,000 lunches were served. That comes out to about 40% of students taking advantage of breakfast and 60% for lunch in terms of percentages. And again, with the food insecurity, that may go up. And again, we want to reiterate to all our families that that is available at our schools. We will close with some technology updates. In order to ensure schools had necessary equipment to begin the school year, the Department of Technology configured, delivered, and installed all of these items in schools. So you can see over almost 16,000 Chromebooks, 2,800 power adapters, Chromebook cases, document cameras, interactive flat panels. This equipment was requested by school leaders during the spring and summer as the Department of Technology solicits schools for needs. During the past quarter, there have been the following number of network outages. Some of the outages were scheduled maintenance, while others were typically due to fiber optic cabling damage running to the school or extended power outages related to the weather. And these applications below received firmware or software upgrades during the past quarter to ensure support, functionality, and cybersecurity best practices. This list includes PeopleSoft, our HR system, Infinite Campus, our student information system, and Business Plus, our financial system. We also have pursued these key technology upgrades, including changes to our Wi-Fi networks, updates to our badge system, looking and transitioning staff from email to Google email. Transitioning to online absent management. This is a really big undertaking, and hopefully we'll get it done soon. And moving school alarm panels to our data network from traditional phone lines. We're also moving more software to single sign-on systems for additional security. We hope this has been helpful and fairly comprehensive, and as Dr. Caselius mentioned at the onset, we are trying out something new with this report, so we're open to any feedback that you may have. Thank you.
Nothing going on at all.
Thank you so much. Does the board wish to make any comments or ask questions? Director Simpson?
Thank you. That was actually really helpful and informative, and it's really nice to get kind of that big umbrella overview of everything, because we hear it at committees, and just kind of nice to have it presented that way. So I really appreciated it. I had a few questions. So one is with the supplemental materials for HMH, do we have a projected timeline when we might be looking at receiving those?
Administration?
President Zambor, Director Simpson, we can get back to you in the SASE committee. I think we're meeting next week.
Yep, next week.
And so we can get you that answer for the exact timeline. I know that it's going to be a costly project for us, so we want to make sure that we give that thorough thought, and we'll make sure that we present that to SASE first.
Okay, thank you so much. And then just one more. With the anticipation of the increase in maybe students taking more of our breakfast and lunch options, are we, because I know those orders have to be placed ahead of time, are we upping those orders at all, or just kind of waiting to see how things play out? I'm not sure
Administration?
what our flexibility is with meeting that potential need.
President Zambor, Director Simpson, we've had meetings with the nutrition team to make sure that we're ready for that. They are pretty nimble, so we already have a little bit of a cushion, so to speak, built in. And if we do see a bigger spike than anticipated, they're ready to increase their orders to meet the needs.
Okay, thank you.
Do other board members have? Director Jackson?
Statement and a comment. First off, it's good to see the VAM program taken off for the homeless students or students having home instability. But with that, how would they be able to, where would they be able to be picked up? How does that work with them calling in for the service or being able to, to be transported to and from school?
President Zambor, Director Jackson, Eduardo Galvan, Deputy Superintendent. So right now our homeless program is already in existence, so we have either shuttles or contracted services that do that already. The addition of these vans specifically helps us do that in a much more efficient way, because we don't always know where they're going to be, and sometimes it's quite a distance, and specifically with our students, our homeless students, we want to make sure that they're able to continue at the school that they already are at, so to provide some of that stability. So if where they are currently located is 12, 15 miles away, that would be far outside our normal transportation zone. So those would be assigned to help that along. Again, that's already happening, but these vans allow us much more flexibility to be able to do that much more efficiently, not only for those students, but for other students that are impacted by having to go out those distances. So timeliness increases for everyone.
Any follow-up, Director Jackson?
No.
Thank you. Do other board members have comments or questions? I will, I'll ask one quick question. I know you said for the technology staff, it looks like there's going to be a migration from Microsoft to Google. Is that for email? Is that for other software? And you can always get back to us as well.
President Zambor, members of the board. So, and I apologize, I said email, but it's our platform for communications, because right now we're between Microsoft and Google. So we want to become more streamlined, so we can provide more information on that.
That's helpful. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? No? Thank you. Very thorough, helpful for all of us to see. So keep up the good work on those reports. I think we all really appreciate it. Okay, Madam Secretary, are there any reports or communications from the Board Clerk, Chief Officer, Office of Board Governance?
Madam President, there are 3 communications from the Office of Board Governance. The first communication is the monthly report with possible action from the Board Clerk or Chief Officer. This is an information item, and although it is noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Will the Office of Board Governance please present the report?
Madam President, members of the board, Dr. Tina Owen Moore, Chief Officer for the Office of Board Governance. I will only take a few moments because the report is attached, but I wanted to highlight a few of the things happening in October. First, our office got to help celebrate School Board Week for all of you, which is always such a joy to do. There were several events and activities to highlight the work of school board members and to share with our community what a school board does. One of those was where we worked with the superintendent and her team to put together a meet and greet opportunity for board members to meet with our new administrators because we have a lot of new people in the offices. So hopefully that broke the ice a little bit and got people to be able to put names to faces and start to have conversations about the work in a social way. That was great. Our office also put together a special newsletter describing what school board members do and really highlighting the things that you've participated in over the past year so people can see, like, this is what school boards do. Kind of in the same vein, I got to connect with a group of leaders from Central Asia this month to talk about, the Rotary Club invited me to participate, to share information about education in the United States and for them to share information about education in their countries. They were from Kazakhstan, Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, and Kazakhstan. And it was a lot of fun talking to them about how we're similar, how they're different. The idea of elected school boards was really a new concept to them, so we had a lot of conversation about that. But the thing that was really in common, I asked them about cell phones and young people in their countries, and we could not stop talking. There are just so many similarities across all countries in thinking about young people and the both challenges and opportunities that people are facing in schools with regards to technology. The other thing that we did this month was we held a school board retreat for finance training from the Wisconsin Association of School Boards. This was a really important goal that the board set for itself in helping the community to see that the district is a responsible steward of its financial resources. And the training for the board in collaboration with all the work that the administration is doing, hopefully that really helps our community to see how far everyone is going to make sure that the community understands that that work is a priority. So I appreciate all of the efforts. We also, our board members participated in several activities this month, including the Green Schoolyard Celebration, Fire Prevention Week, participating in a Marquette student-athlete networking event where we were giving them the opportunity to practice interview skills while also learning about jobs with MPS. So that was a fun activity. And the NAACP Annual Freedom Fund Dinner. So thank you to everybody who participated in that. And there were several other activities too, but I won't say them all. They're listed on there. And with that, I will pass it back to you.
Thank you. Do members have any comments or questions? Okay. And just want to thank the Office of Board Governance again for setting up the meet and greet and for administration. It was really lovely to put faces to all of the names of the new folks and get to connect with them. Okay, with that, Madam Secretary, what is the next communication from the Office of Board Governance?
The next communication from the Office of Board Governance is the monthly report with possible action on legislative activities affecting MPS. This is also an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required. I'll pass that to Chris Thiel.
Thank you, President Zambor. Members of the board, Chris Thiel, Office of Governmental Relations. Just a few updates. as Dr. Tino and Moore just mentioned, the training with WASBO, one of our partners across the state. This first slide that you actually see in your attachment is an update from the Wisconsin Association of School Business Officials that demonstrates again what we've been experiencing in the state with regard to per pupil funding not matching the rate of inflation. So we're now moving into, I think, the 19th year, by the time we get to the second year of this biennium, of funding in the state of Wisconsin not keeping pace with the rate of inflation. You've likely seen this line graph before. This has now just been updated with the most recent information, so that we're $3,571 behind where we would have been had state law stayed in place, which used to keep that inflationary match going. Obviously, that's a concern not only for Milwaukee Public Schools, but for all of our district partners. We work with and meet with the Wisconsin Association of School Boards, obviously, and work with the 420 other districts across the state. And right now, there are 172 districts in the state of Wisconsin that are using a significant portion of the revenue that they are receiving from non-recurring referenda. These are referenda that are going to come to an end. And obviously, with this situation that we see here with per pupil funding not keeping pace with inflation, those districts most likely are going to have to go back to referenda just to keep their operations going. And so what that means is there's about $486 million of non-recurring referenda money that they're using now that has a deadline on it that will expire. And that's in part while we're working with all of our advocacy partners across the state for the policies that we continue to advocate, at the 90% reimbursement for special education, obviously keeping pace with the rate of inflation. And if the state would do those things, it would actually have a positive impact on property taxpayers because some of these districts would not be forced to go back to referenda. I don't think anybody, that's not how school districts, school boards, school administrators want to spend their time. And if we can come to a solution on that sooner rather than later, we'd obviously get ourselves and our partner districts out of that situation. If I can scroll down here, I can show you a similar chart. There was a presentation made to the Southeastern Wisconsin Schools Alliance recently, which is demonstrating that similar inflationary disconnect between our federal funding and what is needed relative to inflation. So at the same time, we've got that line graph with regard to the state. We're also seeing these gaps emerge. These would be the Title I dollars, IDEA funding, some of the Title II, all the title funds that we receive. Over that period of time, we're receiving nationally, this is, $20 billion less in inflationary adjusted terms than we were receiving 15 years ago. So that's happening to all of our partner districts, and as we just had meetings with the Council of Great City Schools over the past week and the advocacy team we have there, we're working with them to hopefully put this in better shape. Senator Baldwin, Congresswoman Moore, some of our other representatives have proposed fully funding IDEA, fully funding Title I, and we appreciate those efforts. But obviously, as we're all watching what's going on at the federal level, we've got a government shutdown right now. We're discussing the fact that we're going to have our communities and families most likely turning to us as things are moving forward here. We also have that blue line, which is the president's proposed budget for education, which goes even more dramatically down, an additional roughly $10 billion cut. Now, normally, and perhaps I'll provide this at the next meeting, there's a proposed budget from the president, and then Congress will come in and actually do the funding. So usually, when you see a dramatic cut like this, the immediate turn is, okay, well, what is Congress actually going to do in terms of funding? Because Republican or Democrat, they're supporting districts all over the country with various needs, and usually we won't see a cut as dramatic as that. But I'm just pointing this out, given the fact that we are undoubtedly in unusual times. And as we mentioned a couple months back, we had a situation where funding was suspended for any number of programs, but I think one of the highlighted entities was our Community Learning Center program, where out of the blue, $4 million of funding that supports our after-school programs just went away for 4 weeks, and then it came back on. So we are in an environment, as we speak with the Department of Public Instruction, as we speak with our partners at the national level, where we are doing all of the incredible work that has just been demonstrated, with just the absolutely positive efforts going forward, and just making sure we're aware of the context that we're in and continuing that advocacy effort to make sure that we continue to get the support that we need. And we have partners proposing and advocating for the support that we need. So that is the basic presentation I wanted to give here. And then just as I do every year, the board and boards across the state are passing their budget. And the school levy tax credit information will be coming out on November 20th. So what was stated as a levy is one thing, but the actual amount of property tax people will be paying, we anticipate for MPS will be about $70 million less. We'll get confirmation of that on November 20th when that's presented by the Department of Revenue and provide that at the next month board meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Do board members wish to make any comments? No? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Thiel, for the important updates and your advocacy work. Madam Secretary, what is the next communication from the Office of Board Governance?
Madam President, the next communication is action on a request to retire to closed session to confer with legal counsel with respect to pending or probable litigation matters and to consider employment matters of employees over which the board exercises jurisdiction. The recommendation is that the board consider this item in closed session.
If there are no objections, we will defer this item to the end of the meeting. Madam Secretary, are there any reports or communications from the Office of Accountability and Efficiency?
There is one communication from the Office of Accountability and Efficiency. This report is the monthly report with possible action on activities within the Office of Accountability and Efficiency. This is an informational item, and although it has been noticed for possible action, no action is required.
Would the Office of Accountability and Efficiency please present the report?
Thank you, Chair Zambor. Matt Chasen, Office of Accountability and Efficiency. That item is before you. Most of the cap updates were delivered earlier this month when we heard about the updates with respect to the 24 financials. The receipt by this board of those, and DPI is currently reviewing them for their acceptance as well. I'll offer the other highlight this evening. I have with me Mr. Matt Hart. He is the new audit supervisor in the audit services area within the OAE. He joins us from Milwaukee County, where he had an 11-year career in their fraud operations. He also spent 4 years in the Inspector General's office in the city of Chicago. I think he's actually a Chicago native originally. He might actually be a Bears fan. I'd ask that we not hold that against him. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to him to provide the audit highlights. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair Zambor, Matt Hart, Audit Services, Office of Accountability and Efficiency. Thank you for the opportunity to speak to you tonight to brag about what Audit Services has done in the past month. Just to highlight briefly some of the things that we've done, of the 10 bullets of activities that I presented, 3 of them, the middle 3, if you take a look at the report, highlight audit services, collaboration, cooperation, partnership with other offices and agencies within the district. On top of that, we are in a hiring phase right now, where we're bringing on potentially, hopefully, 2 new auditors to expand our capacity to continue doing the great work for the district. To help improve performance, find ways to make things better for our community and for our kids. And then finally, the thing I want to highlight is even though this financial transaction occurred in August, I don't think it got the recognition it deserved. As a product of one of the special investigations conducted by Audit Services, roughly $400,000 was returned to the district to be put towards its intended use instead of the way that it was let out.
Thank you. Do board members have any comments or questions? Director Herndon.
I want to say thank you, and I'm sure I'm speaking for the rest of the board as well, with the presentation you just gave, and welcome aboard. It was nice speaking with you the other day, and the $400,000 $1,000 returned to our coffers is tremendous, and thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions? Director Ferguson.
Good evening. I too wanted to welcome you to the role and to interfacing with us. Obviously, you know that your office is a very vital unit to the district and to what we do on the board in general. So I just want to hear from you as you step into this new role. What is your outlook or some things that you hope to accomplish?
Sure. Director, Chair, other members of the board, and to the other stakeholders in MPS, from Office of Board Governance and from the Administration Superintendent's Office as well, if I may. My goal when I came over to audit was to help bring the years of experience that I've had at various levels of government, at the city and at the local county level, bring those institutional knowledges that I've acquired, and Milwaukee County not being too dissimilar from MPS, and try and improve it so that when somebody says audit is coming, it's met with relief instead of a groan, which is a tall order, but for a very long time, not just in MPS, but in any institution that has an internal audit function, audit is
Mr.
sometimes
Hart, could you
seen-
get a little closer to the mic? It's on, but I think it's just quiet.
Sorry, is this better?
Yes.
Thank you. Audit is sometimes seen as the enemy or the person who's coming in to shake their finger in their face, or is seen as a reason for a cut. My goal when I came over here and at my past agencies was to step into a role where we are about improving the performance. That is what audit is about. It is a mechanism, it's a tool. It's an opportunity for the agency to find ways to make things better, and in our environment, better for our kids. And being an MPS parent, I want to make things better within the district. There are internal headwinds, there are external headwinds that are going to affect the policies that are put in place, the programs that are put in place to affect those policies, the goals those programs have that they're trying to achieve. Nobody is perfect, audit included, and so we are just coming in to find ways to make things better for everybody else. And audit, sometimes we have to deliver bad news, meaning things aren't working as well as intended, or if it's part of an investigative process, there is somebody who is allegedly doing something wrong in the district and they need to be dealt with. But my work reflects my personality, and so I think that even if I'm coming with news that you don't necessarily want to hear that day, you're going to know that it's coming from a place of integrity, fairness, objectivity, and that rather than just coming with a problem, I'm also going to come with a solution recommendation behind it.
Thank you so much. We definitely appreciate your partnership and look forward to working with you more and having audit present more to the board. I know that's something we've been trying to increase even over the last year. I think it's helpful for us all to talk about solutions, not just problems. So thank you for bringing that to the work. Do other board members have any comments or questions? Director Jackson?
Yeah, just a quick comment. It's good to hear that your presence is not coming in with this punitive measure and metrics. So that is great and refreshing to hear, not just to myself, but I probably say to the entire district as well. So thank you for that.
Yeah. Okay. Any other comments or questions? No? All right. Well, thank you so much for the update and for your work. Madam Secretary, what is our next item of business?
Madam President, the next item is action on reports of the independent hearing officers of the Milwaukee Board of School Directors, student expulsions.
The chair will entertain a motion to accept, modify, or reject the reports of the independent hearing officers of the dates and times listed in our agenda. Director Seamson?
I move to accept the reports.
Do we have a second? Seconded by Vice President Herndon.
Yes. Second.
Okay. Will the secretary please call the roll?
On Director Seamson's motion to approve the reports of the independent hearing officers, Director Ferguson,
Aye.
Director Fonz,
Aye.
Director Herndon,
Aye.
Director Jackson,
Aye.
Director Reza,
Aye.
Director Seamson,
Aye.
Director Vinoy, Aye. and President Zomber.
Aye.
That's 8 ayes, the motion passes.
We will now have the reports of the standing committees. Since public hearing was given at the committee meetings, the board, as is customary, will not be giving public hearing on these reports this evening. Madam Secretary, what is the first report?
The first report is that of the Committee on Family and Community Engagement. No items of this report have been set aside for separate consideration.
Do any board members wish for the report to be set aside? No? Okay, Madam Secretary, what is the next report?
The next report is the report of the Committee on Student Achievement and School Innovation. No items of this report have been set aside.
Do board members wish any items from this report to be set aside? Madam Secretary, what is the next report?
The next report is that of the Committee on Accountability, Finance, and Personnel. Item 3, action on monthly finance matters, has been set aside at the request of the administration. Item 5, action on the award of exception to bid contracts, has been set aside at the request of the administration. And item 10, action on approval of prevailing wage rates, has been set aside as it requires a 2/3 affirmative vote for approval.
Do any board members wish to set any other items aside? No? Okay.
Next report.
So then I think,
The next report is that of the Committee on Legislation, Rules, and Policies. No items of this report have been set aside for separate consideration.
okay, do board members wish any items to be set aside? Nope. Okay. May I please have a motion to approve the balance of the committee's reports? Director Ferguson?
I motion to approve the balance of the committee's reports.
Second? Seconded by Director Reza. Will the secretary please call the roll?
On Director Ferguson's motion to approve the balance of the committee's reports, Director Ferguson.
Aye.
Director Fons.
Aye.
Director Herndon.
Aye.
Director Jackson.
Aye.
Director Reza.
Aye.
Director Seamson.
Aye.
Director Vinoy.
Aye.
And President Zomber.
Aye.
That's 8 ayes, the motion passes.
Madam Secretary, what is the first item set aside?
Madam President, the first item set aside is from the report of the Committee on Accountability, Finance, and Personnel. Item 3, action on monthly finance matters, authorization to make purchases, report on change orders in excess of $25,000, report on contracts under $50,000, and cumulative total report, report on monthly grant awards, acceptance of donations. Your committee recommended the board authorize the purchases and accept the donations as listed in the attachments with appropriate acknowledgement to be made on behalf of the board. The administration asked for the item to be set aside and recommends approval of an additional contract.
Does the administration have new information to present?
President Zomber, members, I have with me Janina Domchek, who can speak to the item.
President Zomber, members of the board, Janina Domchek, Director of Procurement and Risk Management. We're asking that the board tonight approve an additional purchase from Power School for licensing and services for WUFR compliant budget development for fiscal year 27, fiscal year 26 WUFR crosswalk project, and core financials business process review. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you. Do board members have any questions or comments? Otherwise, what is the pleasure of the board with respect to this item? Director Jackson?
Yes, I move that we accept this new item with the, to be in adherence with WUFR compliance.
Seconded by Director Reza.
And to include the committee's recommendation as well?
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
If there's
And
no other comments, the secretary can read the motion one more time and call the roll.
on Director Jackson's motion to approve the committee's recommendation with the inclusion of the contract with Power School Group, Director Ferguson.
Aye.
Director Fons.
Aye.
Director Herndon.
Aye.
Director Jackson.
Aye.
Director Reza.
Aye.
Director Seamson.
Aye.
Director Vinoy.
Aye.
And President Zomber.
Aye.
That's 8 ayes, the motion passes.
Madam Secretary, what is the next item set aside?
The next item set aside is from the report of the Committee on Accountability, Finance, and Personnel. Item 5, action on the award of exception to bid contracts. Your committee recommended the board authorize the exception to bid contracts. The administration asked for this item to be set aside and recommends approval of an additional contract.
Does the administration have new information to present?
President Zambor, members of the board, Brenda Cassellius. I have with me Janina Domchek, who can speak to the item.
President Zambor, members of the board, Janina Domchik, Director of Procurement and Risk Management. We're asking that the board also approve this evening a contract with MGT Impact Solutions for project management and process improvement for the strategic literacy support that we need for us to move forward. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Do board members have any comments or questions? Okay, what is the pleasure of the board? Director Seamson?
I move to add the MGT contract to the, to item number 5, the action on the award of exception to bid contracts, in addition to the committee's recommendations.
To add and approve?
Yes, please.
Do we have a second? Seconded by Director Reza. Okay. If there's no other comments, the secretary will please call the roll.
On Director Seamson's motion to add the contract with MGT and to approve the exception to bid contracts as listed as recommended by the committee. Director Ferguson.
Aye.
Director Fons.
Aye.
Director Herndon.
Aye.
Director Jackson.
Aye.
Director Reza.
Aye.
Director Seamson.
Aye.
Director Vanoy.
Aye.
And President Zomber.
Aye.
That's 8 ayes, the motion passes.
Madam Secretary, what is the next item set aside?
The next item set aside is from the report of the Committee on Accountability, Finance, and Personnel. Item 10, action on the approval of prevailing wage rates. Your committee recommended approval of the prevailing wage rates as attached to the item. This item was set aside to ensure the required 2/3 affirmative vote.
The chair will accept a motion to approve the committee's recommendation to approve the prevailing wage rates. Does anyone so move?
So moved.
Okay, do we have a second? Seconded by Vice President Herndon. Okay, if there's no further discussion, the secretary will please call the roll.
On Director Ferguson's motion to approve the prevailing wage rates as attached to the item, Director Ferguson,
Aye.
Director Fons,
Aye.
Director Herndon,
Aye.
Director Jackson,
Aye.
Director Reza,
Aye.
Director Seamson,
Aye.
Director Vanoy,
Aye.
and President Zomber.
Aye.
That's 8 ayes, the motion passes.
Madam Secretary, what is the next item?
We will now hear items of regular business. Item 1 is the reports of the board's delegates. The first report is the report of the board's delegate to the library board.
Would the delegate like to make any remarks?
Yes, so I was recently sworn in, which is a good thing after these months. But nonetheless, yeah, that was the most recent.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, what is the next report?
Madam President, the next report is the report of the board's delegate to CISA 1.
And that report is attached. You can reach out if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Secretary, what is the next report?
The next report is the report of the board's delegate to WASB.
Oh, sorry, let me say one thing really quick. Before the board meeting, WASB Region 14 held its annual meeting. Director Fons was reaffirmed as the board's delegate to WASB. Director Fons, would you care to give any remarks?
I'd just like to say that the relationship, I think, is strong with WASB. I think they're really here to show solidarity with Milwaukee, which sometimes we don't necessarily see across the state. And I think it's been a really good partner for us. We also had a retreat was that last Thursday, where we had an update on deadlines for our accounting within the district, which has been an issue, and I think that was helpful for the board members who attended. So I appreciate that.
Thank you. And thank you for I know it's a heavy lift delegate assignment. I know there's a lot of traveling and meetings that come with that, but just thank you for helping strengthen that partnership with WASB, because I do think it's good for the district when that relationship is strong. Did anyone else have comments or questions? Sorry if I didn't open that up before. Okay. Do any other delegates have a report to share? No? Okay. Madam Secretary, what is the next item of regular business?
Madam President, item 2 is the monthly report of the President of the Milwaukee Board of School Directors.
The report is attached. I'll just go over just a few items. It was a pleasure to attend the River West Elementary ribbon cutting for all of the new green schoolyards. I also participated in the Carmen contract review. Thank you to the other board members who have been attending charter reviews. Those are full-day reviews, and it's also a heavy lift. I know we have to take our own vacation time off of work to do those, but it's good to make sure that they're in alignment with district goals and our accountability expectations. I know we all attended the board retreat with WASB, and a huge thank you to Dr. Caselius for joining the Bradley Tech football team to support student athletes this month. I know it was really special for the athletes to see her there and join us for the team dinner. I also met with Kayla. I'm going to forget how to say her last name. She's a new education reporter for the Journal Sentinel. We just talked a little bit about district and board initiatives, and then also have been in one of the check-ins with DPI on aid certification as part of our monitoring the finance team's progress towards state deadlines. And I can take any questions if anyone has any questions about this month's activities. All right. With that, Madam Secretary, is there any unfinished business before the board?
We have no items of unfinished business.
Madam Secretary, is there any new business?
We have no items of new business.
Madam Secretary, are there any communications for referral to committee?
No, Madam President, we have no communications.
Any resolutions for referral?
No, Madam President, we have no resolutions for referral.
Okay. Madam Secretary, what is the next item on our agenda?
We are back to the item that was previously deferred.
Madam Secretary, would you remind us of that item, please?
That item was a communication from the board clerk, action on a request to retire to closed session to confer with legal counsel with respect to pending or probable litigation matters, and to consider employment matters of employees over which the board exercises jurisdiction. The recommendation is that these items be considered in closed session.
The chair will accept a motion to consider these items in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statutes 19.85, Parent 1, Parent G, for the purpose of conferring with legal counsel for the board who is rendering oral or written advice concerning strategy to be adopted by the board with respect to litigation in which it is or is likely to become involved, and 19.85, Parent 1, Parent C, for the purpose of considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the board has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. 19.85, Parent 1, Parent F, considering financial, medical, social, or personal histories or disciplinary data of specific persons, preliminary consideration of specific personnel problems, or the investigation of charges against specific persons with which, if discussed in public, would likely have a substantial adverse effect upon the reputation of any person referred to in such histories or data or involved in such problems or investigations. Does anyone so move?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Director Ferguson, seconded by Director Reza. Madam Secretary, may you call the roll?
On Director Ferguson's motion to retire to closed session pursuant to Wisconsin Statutes 19.85, Parent 1, Parent C, Parent F, and Parent G, Director Ferguson.
Aye.
Director Fonz.
Aye.
Director Herndon.
Aye.
Director Jackson.
Aye.
Director Reza.
Aye.
Director Simpson.
Aye.
Director Vanoy.
Aye.
And President Zomber.
Aye.
That's 8 ayes, the motion passes.
And before we retire to closed session, I forgot earlier to congratulate everyone approved for appointment or promotion, and just want to thank you for bringing your talent to the students of Milwaukee Public Schools. Go forth and do great things. And then with that, the board will now retire to closed session to discuss the item announced by our secretary. The board may return to open session to take action on matters discussed in closed session. Otherwise, the board will adjourn from our closed session. Madam Secretary, please note the time. pursuant to Wisconsin statutes 19.85, parent 1, parent C, parent F, and parent G. What is the pleasure of the board with respect to the matters discussed in closed session? Director Seamson.
I move to approve the settlement agreement as discussed in closed session on DPI case number LEA-25-0023.
Do we have a second? Seconded by Director Fons. Okay, if there's no further discussion, the secretary will please call the roll.
On Director Seamson's motion to approve the settlement agreement as discussed in closed session on DPI case number LEA-25-0023, Director Ferguson.
Aye.
Director Fons.
Aye.
Director Herndon.
Aye.
Director Jackson.
Aye.
Director Reza.
Aye.
Director Seamson.
Aye.
Director Vinoy.
Aye.
And President Zomber.
Aye.
That's 8 ayes, the motion passes.
Madam Secretary, are there any other items of business on our agenda?
Madam President, that was the last item on our agenda.
There being no further business before the board, this meeting is adjourned.